What is up, guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here, and I'm back for another video. This time a bit of a life date slash update to the time pie video that I did. So for those of you that have not seen that video, what I talked about on that video is the big difference between how an average performer works to a superhuman performer. So if you had trouble learning or becoming an expert at any type of skill or building a brand new business and you just haven't been able to break through that barrier, you definitely want to take a look at that. And that is called Huge Problem Life Update. That's the name of the video. It is on my channel. However, in this video, I'm going to break down, a lot of people asked, what exactly is it that I do on a day-to-day basis, and what is my big tip for being able to build that business to all brand new heights and or become a super performer in anything. And the last thing you might be wondering is, why am I qualified to talk about this? Well, first and foremost, I have been able to excel at pretty much anything I've done in life. That includes, I was able to make it to Division I NCAA basketball team. I was able to get a scholarship by playing sports pretty much at the top level at the time for women's basketball. I was also able to become one of the world's best online poker players and become elite in that. And I've also been able to build a gigantic Amazon business, as well as help several people build their businesses. And more recently, I'm about to reveal to you the brand new business that I've started in a future video and how I've been able to climb the ranks of that very quickly, all using the tips and tricks that I talk about in these life update videos. So without further ado, I'm super fired up to show you guys this simple little thing that you can pick up. And I'm gonna show you where you can pick it up to help you become world-class at anything you choose to and or build that business that you've always dreamed of having. So I'm super fired up. I hope you're fired up. Let's go ahead and do this. All right, guys and girls, so in the last video, we talked about the time pie. So remember, if you're gonna wanna perform at your peak, take a look at the time pie video and know exactly where you have to spend your time. So a lot of people said, all right, Liz, I've decided where I wanna spend my time. I know what I wanna be really good at. I know what I wanna crush it at. Yet I've had trouble getting past that barrier. Well, the reason for that is probably you just haven't put enough time into the business. Now, I know there was somebody really smart or somebody that philosophized about all this crap that said you have to put in exactly 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. And while I do believe that you have to put in a ton of time to become an expert at something, I don't think it's that much time. I feel that if you've already become really great at something, if you really think back and preferably if you really journal at becoming great at that, which a lot of people don't, you will gain insights to just becoming great at something, insights that you wouldn't have any other way. And as a result, I did that when I played poker. I journaled from about midway through my career when I really started to hit the moon. Like when I really started to moon and become really fantastic at poker, I was journaling and I got to capture insight that I would not have known from anywhere else. It's insight that not even an expert in your field can give you. It's insight that not even somebody has reached the top of the mountain can give you. It's insight that you could only gain by doing it yourself. And the best part of all is that if you really sit down and study that insight and you look back at what you did, that also transcends into almost becoming great at anything. And there's a really fantastic book on the subject, which I actually don't have a copy of, which is quite surprising. I believe I gave it to a friend. It's from a guy that wrote this that not only was at one point one of the very best chess players in the world, but he also managed to become one of the very best push hands competitor. Now, I imagine push hands is something similar to Tai Chi, or it's some sort of fighting. I don't even really know what it is. I read the book. I thought it was fantastic. It's by a guy named Josh Whiteson or something to that effect. I don't even remember the guy's real name, but I just remember the book because not only did he become fantastic at chess, but again, he became a world champion at push hands, which was unheard of, especially for somebody in the Western Hemisphere. He was typically battling it out with a lot of men in the Eastern Hemisphere, where it's quite common that they become great at that. But in the Western Hemisphere, it was very difficult for him to be able to do that. But the way that he became great at the push hands is by taking lessons he learned in chess. And although he was a young boy, he was still able to put those lessons to good work in push hands and again become one of the best. So it's called The Art of Learning. You guys definitely want to check it out if you want to become a very good learner and or if you want to become great at something. So a guy that did 2 completely different types of competition and he hit the top at both of them. So that's basically what I live by. That's what I've managed to do. But it all revolves around one key thing that you must have. So I like to use this as a combination of 2 things, and this is the secret tactic that I use to be able to excel, again, at poker, at basketball, at Amazon, and pretty much anything I do. I'll show you my secret business that I've actually now working on very soon. But the way that I've done it is by the use of a journal. And trust me when I say I've tried and gone through so many different journals. I started up with the plain writing journal, and I do love to do that. Every now and then you will catch me in a phase where I can't even remember the book I read, but it's where you get up in the morning and you write everything that's on your mind for 10 straight minutes. You get that out of your mind and you start your day with that. It can be just complete nonsense, but it has to be pretty much linear writing just straight out of the gate when you get up from the morning. And I forgot who wrote this book that talked about this linear writing. That was a fantastic exercise that I used to do a lot. So a lot of the stuff that I do is involved with journaling. So I've tried many different journals. One of my favorite journals, and although it is a bit more expensive than typical journals, and it's a journal that I learned most of this stuff from, system that I learned a lot from, is by a guy named Michael Hyatt, who was quite popular in the productivity space. And he came out with this journal called the Full Focus Planner. As you can see it right here. It's got several pages. It's got several different ways that you have to fill in the blanks. And you can see that I did quite a bit. You can't see the writing, but there's writing here. There's writing everywhere. And I love this journal. However, it can be a bit pricey. You have to sign up for a full year and you get 4 journals in that full year. And I think each journal comes out to like 40 bucks. So I use this journal, and let me show you some of the key parts of this journal that I love. But in a minute, if you stick around till the end, I'm gonna show you a journal that I managed to find that's a lot cheaper, that you can buy just one at a time. All right, so the key parts that I like from this is it has like your annual goals. So you can put your annual goals down and it gives you a slot for 10 of them. And then it has like achievement goals. So what goals are you trying to achieve over the course of this quarter? It's divided into quarters, but again, it has the annual goals straight out of the gate. Then it has habit goals. So what kind of habits are you starting to form? It also gives you a slot for 120 check marks, so that if you accomplish those habits, they can become really cemented habits, which the odds of you sticking with those habits are very high versus somebody who wouldn't do that. And then there's like stuff for daily rituals. And then here's the key. Here's where this is where you really got to pay attention. There's something called a weekly big 3. So what 3 things are you going to crush that week? And then after that, it starts on a daily basis. And you should have a daily big 3. So what are the 3 things that you're going to accomplish that day? And that's for whatever business it is that you're working on. So obviously, I am a big fan of having multiple businesses, but when you first start and you still haven't had any success, you want to have one business or one goal, one skill that you absolutely want to crush. And if you want to crush that skill, you have to persevere and you have to become consistent with accomplishing 3 things on a daily basis for that goal. And that doesn't include weekends, right? So on weekends, you can kind of chill out, you can have a lot of fun, you can do whatever you want. And then there's still room for other tasks. So on this particular day, I had to do AMS campaigns for my Amazon business. And then I had to put here that I had to create a website for it, as well as a video that I was trying to work on for that particular business. And then that goes through the week. At the end, there is these weekend optimizers. So how are you gonna have fun? How are you gonna reward yourself for accomplishing? And then reevaluating what the following week is going to do. So what were your daily wins? What were your biggest wins for the week, right? What could you have done differently? And then what is your new weekly big 3? So that's what's on the agenda. And that pretty much repeats itself for an entire quarter, which is 3 months. And then at the end of this, what basically happens is there's a section here for notes, and there's a quarterly review where you review what you accomplished, what you didn't accomplish, and you can see that I still haven't finished this one. And again, like I said, one of my favorite things, but a little pricey. However, here's what I managed to find. This one I feel has a lot more, and it's also a lot cheaper. This one is on Amazon. It's the Get Stuff Done Planner. Very similar to that one by Michael Hyatt, but less expensive. And now this one has your 10-year plan, where you put your 10-year plan, and then it has a slot for a vision board, so you can glue and stick all those usual images you put on your vision board. And then again, it's got the goals, similar to what Michael Hyatt did, where it had the goals. And then lastly, what it does is it goes into the weekly, the same thing. So it has goals for this week, Same thing, goals for this week, last week review, new habits, and so forth. So it's kind of like just a slight difference from the Michael Hyatt, and that's for the weeks, right? And then you've got day by day. So on a daily basis, here's the focus for the day right here. What are you going to focus on? Other tasks, just like Michael Hyatt, and then your schedule. How are you going to break that down chronologically in time? And again, it just repeats itself over and over up until you get to the end. And then at the end, it's got a section for ideas and notes, which is very typical of most journals. They all got that. And then that's pretty much it. It'll have a review at the end of this, and it doesn't even. It's just notes for goals. So I just started to try to use this one, but I got so used to the Michael Hyatt one. It's got a nice cover, and this one is just kind of like, you know, a cheap pleather looking thing. But still, very valuable thing if you just want to cheaply get done with the same thing that the Michael Hyatt one accomplishes. And I live by these pretty much on a day-to-day basis. So this is how I break down becoming great at something and how I build a brand new business with speed, precision, and meticulous accuracy. So this is exactly the tool that you need in your arsenal if you want to do either of those. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed that little tidbit. I know I've kind of gotten off track on Amazon Kindle KDP. I haven't been working in the Amazon realm for about a month. I've been taking some time off. So right now I'm focusing my energy on a brand new business, but I will be back. I am going to be hosting an Amazon event very soon. So I've got to get back into the swing of things with Amazon and know what's going on. So other than that, let me know your questions and comments below. I hope you enjoyed one of these videos, and I will see you guys next time.